All right, everyone. Well, today is a red day recap. And you know what? This is so typical. Red days are always clustered together. In fact, if we look at my metrics here, just from the last like 90 days, what you'll notice about my red days is that 2 red days back to back, 2 red days back to back, 2 red days back to back. And I'm doing it again. Yesterday was red. Today is red. So this is the fourth time here in the last, couple months where I've had back to back red days. All right, today, unfortunately, is a max loss red day. However, from the perspective of discipline and self-control, although today wasn't perfect, generally speaking, it was fairly reined in. I'm in the red, $6,305.64. And to be honest, what's more frustrating than anything else is the fact that yesterday I was red on 4 out of 4 stocks, and today I'm red on 3 out of 4 stocks. And I feel like I haven't had a good winner since Wednesday. It's just a little disappointing. Now, I'm going to talk about the context of sort of the market that we're in and the trades that I took. We'll start high level. This week, in the last few days, FFIE has been a big stock, trading over 1 billion shares of volume a day. It's been in play, definitely in focus. Not something that I traded because when it began, a little too cheap for my preference. And as it started to move up, I felt that I would be not able to day trade it well because you'd have people dumping 500,000 share positions who had been holding for a couple days. And at any time that could cause a flush into a halt down. So I feel like this is the type of stock that really the people who make the most on it for sure, the people that hold it for a couple days. People trying to day trade it end up getting chopped out. You can see it's quite choppy on the intraday. On the bigger time frames, it looks cleaner. So I didn't take any trades on FFIE, but I knew that penny stocks were becoming the focus. They were yesterday and again today and the day before. So Duo this morning squeezes up over 200%. You've got this really big move. I was impressed. And the first stock that I traded was FLJ. So on FLJ, this one hit my scanners early and it started squeezing up. As you can see right here, it punches higher right around 7 a.m. It goes from 60 cents to 75, 85, 90 cents, $1, $1.10, $1.20, $1.30. I'll show you where I took my first trade. My first trade on it was solid, but as you probably know, I start with a maximum position of 5,000 shares until I first made $1,000. And so on this one right here, I got in at $1.33. It was this arrow right here. $1.33 was my entry. So I bought right there. And the reason I bought right there was because we had a tap, and I was looking for the break through this level. This was resistance. So as we broke through about 5,000 shares, it squeezes up to $1.45, $1.50. I didn't sell. I was like, this is looking good. It breaks through $1.50. I wanted to add, but I was like a little slow. It pops to $1.65 right here, and I end up adding 10,000 shares at $1.58. So now I'm like, here we go. I think I'm on a ticket to the moon, and then flushes right back down. So I increased my max position size on the day because I was over $1,000, and this thing was looking strong. But just like that, boom, it flushes down. And I'm now red on the day. I stopped out. I took the loss. Okay, so I'm red almost $1,000. Then it comes back up here, and as it breaks back over 50, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to get back in. I got back in at 50 and added at 55 right here, 15,000 shares. Lower price stock trading with bigger size. And I'm looking for the squeeze through 65 and 70. And then here it dumps to 38. Stopped out a second time. All right, so from a 52 average to a 40 average on, I think it was 17,500 shares, I lost $2,000. Now I'm down $3,500, $3,700 actually. Here's the P&L right here. So I'm down $3,700 in my first 2 trades, and it's 7:20 in the morning. So my max loss is $5,000, and I'm thinking I've got $1,200 to go. This isn't a great way to start the day. That happened fast. Now I wouldn't say that. So the one thing I would say actually is that I increased my size for this trade, and then I went red on the day and then took that same level of size here. Now these trades are like, 30 seconds apart. This is all very quick that this all happened, but I should have brought my size back down to the cap of 5,000 shares until I got myself up 1,000 on the day. And I just kind of kept with that bigger size. Now this is a cheaper stock, and that 5,000 share cap isn't really great for these. It's just not ideal. And 5,000 shares on GameStop is way too much. So anyways, it's kind of not a perfect system that I have right now. But so I'm red on FLJ. Then MDJH pops up, and I jumped in that off the scanner, and I managed to make $44, but might as well have been a loss because this thing did a huge jackknife, rejected. So barely avoided a loss on MDJH. Then we had XIN. XIN hits the scanner, and on this one, same thing. Look right here. I got in, and this is really frustrating. There was a big buyer on the bid, 20,000 shares, and I was like, okay, I'm going to jump in. I jumped in. It goes up, and then there's another buyer at 4. I was like, okay, sweet. And then there was a huge hidden seller right here. And then as soon as I realized there was a hidden seller, I went to sell, and those big buyers had vanished. They were gone. So I think that that was someone putting out orders to try to convince people to buy so they could sell shares up here. You're not supposed to do that. A broker will ban you if they find you doing that, but I think that's what happened. Big rejection, back down. Only lost $135, not a big deal, but annoying nonetheless. And then the last trade that put me below max loss was BNRG. So BNRG hits the scans, and all of a sudden here, it squeezed from $3 to $8 a share right there. Now, as it started squeezing, it first hits my scanner at $3.50, $4, and I was like, okay, it's moving. I jumped in for the break of 5. That was my first entry. And then I added at $5.50, and I actually added at 7. And so on this one, I scaled into it, just adding every 50 cents to $1, and I was thinking that this might be parabolic up to $10 a share. And then on this candle, again, it was looking really good. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I'm going to take a little profit, and the buyers were gone. And it flushes down to 4. And I'm in with an average of close to 6. So I lost $2,400. And with that, max loss, down more than 5,000. So now that I'm down more than 5,000, I can't take any more trades. I'll show you what happens if I try to take another trade. So I'll just try to do a trade on FFIE. Can't place any long orders. See, it won't let me take any trades because I'm below my max loss. And that's good. That's for a reason. Now, the fact is today, I'm disappointed. And for what it's worth, I didn't exceed 5,000 shares on this position. This was a smaller position, but big range. Didn't exceed 5,000 shares. At least I don't think I did on XIN. And I didn't on MDJH. So I kept the size moderate on these. And the loss is tolerable. At the end of the day, it's tolerable. I can handle it. It's not that bad. But it's just disappointing. Because, a couple red days in a row is disappointing. The fact that I haven't had a good winning trade since Wednesday is a bummer. Thursday was I was red on everything. And now today I might as well be red on everything. They were just not clean follow through. And I think the issue here at the end of the day is that we had dispersed attention. So if we sort the volume here, we've got a lot of volume, FIE, Duo, AMC. AMC is still sucking a lot of attention. FLJ, HOLO, Robinhood. So attention and volume is dispersed across a dozen different stocks today. And that results in none of them, if all of that volume was on one single stock, holy smokes, that would be insane. And on days when that's the case, that's when things go crazy. But instead, the volume is dispersed. Now, the volume constitutes demand. So demand is dispersed, but each one of these stocks has their own level of supply. But because all of the volume is dispersed, we don't have all the demand concentrated in one place. So we don't have that massive imbalance between supply and demand that we would have if everyone was focusing on just one stock. So, with GameStop, we had GameStop, but we also had AMC, a couple other meme stocks. With the penny stocks, we had FFIE, but then we also have 4 or 5 other low-priced penny stocks that are gaining attention. So the volume gets a little dispersed, and that's when things start to get choppier. So unfortunately today, the choppiness kind of got the best of me because I got in things that maybe on another day would have played out better, but today with attention more dispersed, they didn't work. The attention was already focused on something else. And so, this stock popping up, it just didn't catch attention, and it didn't get that momentum, and it wasn't sustained. So, hey, look, this is the way it goes. There's always ups and downs in trading, and you could see that, of course, in my P&L. There's no question about it. So, I had a little bit of a dip. Was back up, another little dip, back up, another little dip here. And, it's just the way it's always going to be. There's always going to be ebb and flow. So you can't really get too bent out of shape about it, because this is literally the career of being a trader. But it also means that since losses happen, and they happen, every couple weeks, you're going to have a couple red days. You got to just get good at losing and know when to walk away. Now, I pushed it right here on these 2 days. There's no question about it. And I pushed it on this day, this one day here. Today, I'm walking away. Yesterday, I walked away. So these days are tolerable within the range of an acceptable red day. And none of these losses were blowout losses. You know what I mean? Like it's just accumulation of 4 or 5 losers in a row, and the market's choppy. So Monday morning, I'm going to be back at it as always, and I'm just going to trade with slightly smaller size. I mean, to be honest, I'll just keep the same 5,000 share max position, but I have to be cognizant of the fact that I'm in a little bit of a slump here these last couple of days. So it's better just to be, a little cautious, really wait for something to prove itself before I jump in, too aggressively, and just try to be patient. So that's where I finished the week. Red day recap for me. But, hey, at the same time, green on the week, green on the month, green on the year. So life is good. Got to take the, kind of roll with the punches and be back at it on Monday. Okay, so I hope you guys have a great weekend. Make sure you study up, watch these episodes here. Those of you that are in the classes, make sure you're studying those classes so you can be better prepared for the next hot cycle, the next stock that we see that goes up, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500%, or whatever it is. Thanks as always for tuning in. I'll remind you that my results are not typical. Trading is risky, so manage your risk, take it slow. And I'll see you guys back here on Monday morning.